Good morning. I got up this morning and I thought I should add my voice and join in calling for the release of Mr. Tom, the publisher of Power magazine. Mr. Tom had been the 72-year-old, I think Mr. Tom is over 72 years old. Mr. Tom had been in police custody after his abduction since almost 4 weeks now. And because we got distracted with a lot of other things, most Nigerians don't know that I have been there even during the NSAS protest. So, and we don't know the details, but whatever that is the offense of the publisher is irrelevant at this stage, because the constitution is very clear. You're not supposed to hold him more than more than the constitutional limit required. The police is supposed to have taken him to court if he committed an offense, and then arraign him. But guys, I want to tell you that Mr. Tom, the publisher of Power magazine, Tom or here, Power Steering magazine, publisher of Power Steering magazine. So they've been in detention since almost over a month and abducted on the instruction of the Inspector General of Police, because of something that they said he wrote against the Minister of Power or something, the man who was formerly in NMPC as Director of Crude Sales or something. So please add your voice in joining in calling that this ruthless and lawless government release Mr. Tom Ohia, the publisher of Power Steering magazine, from their illegal detention that has kept him since over a month and now. And they have refused to allow access to his family, and have refused to allow access to his lawyers since they kept him in detention. And why I'm particular about this issue, since my attention was drawn to the issue, is that this is a government that is talking about police reforms. You can see that President Buhari and his police chiefs have no plan for police reform, because if we are talking about police reform, if we are talking about ending police brutality, and then you are adopting a publisher, Mr. Tom Ohia, and kept him in police secret cell for over 2-3 months now, thereabout, he refused access to lawyers for him to see his lawyers, he refused access for him to see his wife, and he has a serious illness, and then you refuse him access to his drugs. That's barbaric, and it's something that we should not keep quiet about. It doesn't matter how the people in government wants to feel about it. So please join me in calling on President Muhammad Buhari and his Inspector General of Police to release Mr. Tom, who are the publisher of Power Steering magazine, from the secret police cell that they have kept him since his abduction since the last 2-3 months. Let the IG of police, let him show respect to the Nigerian people. I don't know what is wrong with these people. You saw what NSAS protest led to, and then instead of you reforming, instead of you being sober, government seems to be celebrating that they have conquered the people. I'm shocked to start reading stories that protests are no longer allowed. This is the same way Nkurunziza's Burundi went into full-blown dictatorship. This is the same way Paul Biya, went into full dictatorship. This is the same way Idi Amin of Uganda started. This is the same way Paul Biya. This is the same way Blaise Compaoré of Burkina Faso started. This is the same way Dos Santos of Angola started. This is the same way the one in Congo, even the one in Zaire, Mobutu Sese Seko started. You see, even this is the same way Mobutu Sese Seko started. Gradual clampdown on citizens' rights, on freedom of expressions, on the electoral process. The key things dictators destroy, whether in civilian clothes or military clothes, is the most measure they destroy a free press. You can see what is happening in Nigeria today. The NBC, the stations who air things that are honest and truth, and they say, oh, why are you airing such things? They place fine on them to scare them away from getting, the Nigerian people to hear the truth all the time. They clamp down on freedom of association and freedom of movement. You saw what they're doing. They don't want people to freely express themselves, but at the same time, they don't want to do the right thing. So it's so insulting that the government that a few weeks ago promised to end SARS, promised to end police brutality, is still doing the same thing. Sure, they are using more violence and more, how will I put it, more force on the people. Arresting people, beating up people. This is just like what happened in Uganda some few days ago, where the opposition candidate, Bobby Wine, finished securing presidential nomination. As he was stepping out, the police grabbed him, beat him, mercilessly, and put him in the car and took him to their station. So why is all this is happening in Africa? Why is all this is happening in Nigeria? So the essence of this in this morning is that I want everybody to start tweeting, asking President Muhammad Buhari, asking the Inspector General of Police that have so much disrespect to the Nigerian people, that loves to visit so much brutality on the people, to please show mercy and release all the people that are holding in their illegal detention, especially the publisher of Power Steering magazine, Tom Ohia, who have been in the secret police cell since over 2 months on the orders of the Inspector General of Police because of a publication he made against the Minister of State for Power. And let me say this, it doesn't matter what he wrote. Get it clear, it does not matter what he wrote. The most important is that this is a constitutional democracy. It is not for you to decide whether what he wrote is something that you are going to make punishment for him from the IG's office or the president's office. You take him to court. If he defends the character of the man can take him to court and get damages. If he indulge in criminal defamation, then you arraign him before a magistrate or a high court or whatever. And then he will have a neutral ground to defend himself. Why this nonsense now? Why are they doing all this nonsense? So please join in asking the IG of police. Because I think the IG is now bold now because they didn't cite him through the NSAS protest. Maybe that's why he feels like he has survived, he has won, and he can continue this impunity. Ask the IG, why is he keeping the publisher of Power Steering magazine in his secret cell? Why? And that's how they're doing it to every other person. I just got to know about this a few days ago. And I'm surprised that the man is still in that secret police cell where they kept him since his abduction. So please tell the IG to stop, or to me, this is nonsense. This is a constitutional democracy now. If you want citizens to respect the law, you should respect the law because this law is made for everybody. For some time, I refuse to talk because I lost my voice talking about this. So this place is like, I don't want to use the word Trump used. I don't know what is going on with Nigerians and Nigeria, and even the leaders in particular. So please, if the government is serious about ending police brutality, if they are serious about ending ending SARS and all these other atrocities that an abuse of human rights that the security agencies have carried, some of the security agents have carried out in the last few years, they should release Mr. Tom Ohia, the publisher of Power Steering magazine, from the illegal police cell. IG of police, release Mr. Tom from your illegal cell. You don't own this country. You see, the thing that gets me angry, these people, 80% of them cannot make any living outside government. So people pay tax every day, work hard, and then all they ask you is to run the country in accordance with the law. You carry somebody put in your illegal detention as who now? On what ground? Because what I'm saying is that if you people think that you have, your brutality method have won, and now you have become so audacious in it, the next answers or revolution of the people, they will not listen to anybody again because now the people have listened. They have gone back. Now instead of you changing, you are not carrying out more impunity, more than Crusoe Burundi would do, more than Puopi of Cameroon would do, more than Blaise Compaoré of Burkina Faso would do. And when the people return back to the street, I picture these people who are doing this because they will not listen to anybody again. So respect the people now that everywhere is calm now, and free all the people you have kept in your illegal detention, especially Mr. Tom Ohia, the publisher of Power Steering magazine. And if he has committed any offense, you arraign him before a court of competent jurisdiction. Anything else that makes the person detaining that person legally a very crazy person. You must respect the law. And I don't know why I keep saying this. This place will collapse. It's almost collapsed, but it's like they are not seeing it. The anger is so much. The people have lost complete, let me even use the word, 200% confidence in government because of actions like this. No single thing is working the right way. You know how to freeze account of protesters. You know how to freeze, stop them from where they're gathering. But you people will not know how to know when Boko Haram people are moving with their back to raid one village in Yobe or Borno. Doesn't that show that some of these people who claim to be in charge are dumb? You know where the answers people get their money from. You know the bank where they kept it, right? You know where they're gathering. And then you can deploy thugs and army and police against them. But when the bandits are moving, when the rapists are moving, when the killer groups all over the country are moving, raping and destroying, you will not know, you will not see it. But you know how to go after the citizens. You know where they're gathering. That's where your energy is. That's where you spend all your resources. At the end of the day, you cannot do the basic responsibility of government under Section 14, which is protection of lives and property. Any government that cannot protect lives and property is useless. Because that is what the founding fathers, inputted into the constitution. That the basic responsibility of governance is to protect lives and property. And I ask, are you doing that? Are you protecting lives and property? Rather, you're destroying lives and property. And when people raise genuine concern, you either take it on the ethnic part, you take it on the religious side, you bring all sorts of divide and rule, so that you remain in power. And what pains is that it is the stupid people that are being used for this nonsense. At the end of the day, your poverty level will remain the same. So everybody should stand up and demand for better life. It's something that everybody, is a human right and is a religious right to live better. So it's not something that it has nothing to do with religion or ethnicity. So when people stand up to speak for what they feel will make the society better, you should add your voice and forget about party affiliation. This is comes and go. Where are the parties that were used in 1963? Where's the ones that were used in 1983? The MPN and MPP. Where's the one that was used in 1992? So all these parties come and go. The individuals remain the same. And we should know who is our enemy. And these are the people who have made this nation not to work. You can find them in all political parties. Even in the opposition, they are everywhere. They keep moving the same set of people. So the people, these people, you know who are these. But at this political moment, we know the ones who are in government, who are the one who has the power to change things, and are doing the wrong thing. And some people are, because of ethnic or religious reason, trying to divide, divide us. Then distract attention. So all I'm asking this morning is that I want you people to join me in calling on the Inspector General of Police, to release Mr. Tom Ohia, the publisher of Power Steering magazine, that he kept in his illegal police cell underground in Area 10. And he has not seen his wife, he has not seen his lawyer, he has not seen his son. Release the man. That is what the law requires. He can't have a holding, there's even no holding order that you can get for almost over 2 months to keep him. He didn't commit any terrorist acts. He didn't commit treason. So if it is a publication that government did not like, or of a state for power, whatever they call him, Jerry Abba, I don't know what is it, I don't even want to know. Whatever it is the issue, you take the man to court and use the judicial system and then get justice if you have a case. And then the man can have a neutral ground, to present his own case, which is very important. And that is all I'm asked, and that is why I'm making this video this morning. I don't want to waste more energy on every other issue, because everything is collapsing gradually, everything is going. And let me say it even. If you like, keep abusing human rights. If you like, keep being bold, because if you have crushed answers, maybe because they didn't get the message that have been sent, what has happened. The ability of young people to mobilize. Maybe they didn't get that message. Maybe in the next mobilization of the young people, they will get that message from a very disadvantaged position. And it's important I say this. If you like, keep abusing human rights, keep dividing Nigeria on the altar of religion and ethnicity. There is one common factor that is above ethnicity, that is above religion, that is above everything, which is poverty. And we have entered the poverty age here in Nigeria. So it's very soon to overwhelm all parts of the place. And when you now have poor people 10 over 1, I wonder how you will live in that your glass house. It's impossible, because it's gonna take something from you to eat. That's what even happened when the rebels tried to hijack the process last time. Because people are hungry, people are angry, people are not educated, because you refuse to invest money in education, you refuse to send them to school, you refuse to even do birth control. You keep population is growing, there's no resources to train them, there's no education. It boils to one thing: collapse. It will collapse. If you like, keep blowing grammar. Because look at it economically. You are not producing anything. You are not selling anything, apart from the little crude. Now, you don't have citizens buying into the government. Patriotism is zero, not even existing, because you have made it practically impossible to exist by your actions. The country is highly divided on the lines of religion and ethnicity. Politically, the electoral process, you have in the last few years, you have bastardized it with all sorts of methods, even writing results without, even when the election is still ongoing. That is what this APC regime brought. All the attempts by the Electoral Commission to reform it, at the end of the day, the ruling party will still sabotage it. So what does this tell you? With a population that is growing very high, it keeps growing every morning. Now it's over 200. Whether you count it or you don't count it, it's growing. Just look at your window on the street, you see the boys and girls doing nothing, begging, breaking into homes, robbing, and doing all sorts of things. It's growing. So it will get to a point where one day we even have anybody to rob. There will be no food, no water, no clothes, no education. The health system is down, so they can't even go to any hospital and get any reasonable treatment. They don't even have a school where they can go. So at the end of the day, when you have so much, 95% of hungry and angry people, some divided on the lines of ethnicity and religion, you have an implosion, you have crime rates increasing, you have civil unrest, the republic will collapse. 100% collapse. And I want you to quote me on that. If we do not restructure it now, if we do not change the way we do things, if we do not return to the path of decency, because what is happening is very indecent at all levels. Because if we keeping quiet and allowing these politicians the way they are going, they will run it into the ground. I just saw my friend A-Rufai, and let me even address that one. A-Rufai, Nasi A-Rufai, the governor of Kaduna State. You're always, clever by half. You're a very intelligent man, I give it to you. But you're a coward. You know what I mean by saying you're a coward? You don't know how to speak through to power. I listened to the speech by A-Rufai at the 22nd conference of the Chartered Institute of Accountants, where he said that Nigeria is reaching the maximum borrowing limit. Why are you painting it? Why not come publicly and say that President Buhari has borrowed more than Nigeria economy can carry? That's the simple truth. You don't need to paint it and say, oh, it's like they are losing the maximum limit. We have reached the maximum limit of borrowing. And you know the implication, A-Rufai. Speak out, A-Rufai, if you're a man. Tell the president that he has ruined the economy and that he should stop borrowing. Now look at 1999 about Nigeria traveled to a World Cup or something, Atlanta, and defeated Brazil, right? We defeated Brazil. Today, Nigeria is running to Brazil that they defeated some years back to go and borrow money. How about A-Rufai? If Buhari, that is your godfather now, that you're following up and down because you want to keep power in Kaduna, you want to be president or VP from what we are hearing, you cannot tell him the truth. You know that it has gotten so bad that we can't even get more loans from other reasonable countries. Now we have moved to Brazil. Look at Brazil that is also struggling to go and seek to borrow $1.2 billion. It looks like there's some expert around Villa whose job is to be getting from one boardroom or the other, an international committee looking for country. I beg you, go give us something. Looking for a way to get money for Nigeria. So that is how bad it is. Brazil, that's where your friend Buhari has gone now. You see, they have taken lights. So we're used to it. Now Brazil, that's where your friend Buhari has gone now. To go and borrow money. Brazil, that cannot feed themselves years back. To go and borrow $1.2 billion. Now we're borrowing. Very soon, we will end up borrowing from Niger, Chad, Zimbabwe, Burkina Faso, Central African Republic, Somalia, because that's the only people that may have the credibility left to borrow to Nigeria. So I hate a man when, because things has changed, you are not empowered. When you are not there, you sound so intelligent about how things should be done. But you can see that it's not easy. Now you are in power and you cannot speak out. Because if you speak out, they'll be angry with you. They're going to block you out. And that is why you are painting yourself. It's like Nigeria is reaching its maximum borrowing limit. No, Nigeria has reached the maximum borrowing unit. They cannot pay their debt. You know that. And you know that Nigeria has reached their maximum borrowing unit. So what brought me about is that I hate a man who is a political coward, who because of present position cannot speak through to power, especially when that person was in the forefront of disturbing people about how things should be done. There is the celebrated public servant that is no nonsense, that turns through to power. You can't speak out about bandits. You can't speak out about insurgency. You can't speak about the constant abuse of human rights, even in the NSAS, the killing in Lekki, the killing in Obibo. The reckless and wicked killing in Obibo. You cannot speak about it. You cannot speak about the looting that is going on in different agencies of government. You cannot, because you're a political coward. Because the president favors you. Because of the little thing you are doing in Kaduna, you cannot rock the boat. But tomorrow, I'll be waiting. Tomorrow, you come out again. Maybe when it changes the other way around. To come and lead a revolution, to come and talk about accountability. We will remind you whether that accountability that you are seeking, whether is it not the same standard you set up with Buhari. So if you say you're a man, you have immunity. You stand up and say those things that you believe in. Where is your so-called restructuring document? Where is it? Have it been implemented? Have it been officially tabled before the party? What has happened now about restructuring? What's happened about accountability? All those things you said about Jonathan, have they not happened more than he claimed that it was happening under Jonathan. People have been killed, executed summarily for no just cause on the street. Even the IG have given instruction that policemen should kill citizens on the guise of self-defense. But he forgot that the citizens also have a right of self-defense. So if a policeman is about to kill me, I have a right to kill him too. Because I have my own life. My life is important also. Every life is very important. But at the end of the day, he's telling his police officers that if they feel their right is threatened, they should kill. So what is the measure? What did the IG put in place as a measure for a police to do? I mean, when a policeman's life is in danger. Is it when you slap him, his life is in danger or what? So you are giving license to officers, the same officers that we are complaining about because of their brutality, that they have a license to use their rifle to execute citizens on the street if they feel their lives is threatened. And I'm telling you that me as a citizen, if I feel my life is threatened, I will also take that person's life to defend myself. If that is what they are advocating, that is lawlessness, that is anarchy, and it's not the right thing. So my people are sorry for diverting. What I'm actually trying to say is that I want them to free Tom Ohia, the publisher of Power Steering magazine, from the illegal police detention. Please join in tweeting. Go and Google the man's name. Go and Google the man's name. Tom Ohia, the publisher. Go and Google the man's name. Tom Ohia, the publisher of Power Steering magazine. Held for over 2-3 months now in illegal police detention on the alleged orders of the Inspector General of Police and the Minister of State for Power, Jerry Abba, whatever they call him. And the presidency is also aware of that. This man have not seen his wife. This man have not seen his lawyer. I even made an attempt to go there. They nearly bundled me inside that place as well to tell you that the lawlessness has not ended. So I'm asking all of you, just go and Google his name, find it, his picture, put it on your profile, ask the IG of police to release him from his illegal police cell. If the man is still alive, because the last time I heard from their people, they say he was very sick. So if the man is still alive, you release him. If the man is dead, bring out his body. So you tell everybody's tweet that the president and his Inspector General of Police and the Minister of State for the Power, Jerry Abba, who is alleged to be involved in the illegal abduction and detention of Tom Ohia, the publisher of Power Steering magazine, that they should free